And good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Highside Hustle here on the National Racing Network. My name is Bert Wojcik. Alongside me is Adam Rubright, Chris Graham, our executive producer. And boys, Mud Turtles took over Central Pennsylvania last weekend, and what a weekend it was, Adam. We saw some great racing, both at the Selinsgrove Speedway, at the Port Royal Speedway. Saw a lot of great 410 sprint car racing this weekend, too. Man, I tell you what, it's good to have good weather in March.
Yeah, we definitely did see some great racing. Weather was fantastic both days. Really wish we could have went and saw some racing at the Grove Friday, but
yeah,
kind of have 3 days in a row of good weather in March. It's unheard of around these parts.
You ain't wrong there. And it was a good call by the Grove, honestly. I saw some people, of course, as they're going to do, bitch and complain about, oh, hey, they could have raced this and that. But no, that was too cold Friday night. You would have had a ton of blow motors. You would have got a car count there. It was just wasn't going to be good. Tomorrow, to see what they're going to do. Now, there's a wind advisory until 6 p.m. After that, it's the winds are going to die down. But they're calling for like 50-mile-an-hour gusts tomorrow all day. So I'm kind of curious to see what their game plan is going to be tomorrow. But we'll get on that a little bit later on here. But let's recap this weekend here. We'll start off with that here, and we'll start off where we were at last Saturday afternoon up at the Selinsgrove Speedway for the return of the Selinsgrove Icebreaker to kick off their 75th season of competition up there in Snyder County. And for a while there, Adam, it looked like we were talking about J.R. Hefner. I mean, he looked really, really good the early parts of that race there. I want to know what happened to that car. Something happened to it. I wonder if the tires went away or what, but he fell like a lead balloon then towards the end of that race there. But it allowed the wild child, Andy Buchanan, to come up there and get his make some moves and get up there, get his first win down to Selinsgrove Speedway.
Yeah, that I'm going to say probably tires with Hefner because he looks like he had them covered. That's what I'm thinking. But I went around. I looked at other people's tires afterwards. It didn't chew through many tires from what I could see, but it is what it is. It sucks to not get that good finish like he was probably hoping for. But Buchetti, I mean, first win in God, I couldn't even tell you how long.
Years?
Yeah, it's been a minute since Buchetti won, so good for him.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was a great race all around. It was. I mean, we saw the battle we saw between Buchetti, Perego, Williamson, Kyle Coffey. He was up in there too. I mean, there was some really, really good racing there until it kind of went, kind of bombed down there. But man, you could throw 5 cars under a blanket there for the longest time.
You really could. And to be truthfully honest, I wasn't expecting a whole lot when we got there and the track looked the way it did. But kudos to the Selinsgrove track prep people and everyone that put that show on, because you can't do a whole lot with a racetrack in the morning when it's frozen. So,
yeah. And kudos to Mike Hefner and Brett and everyone that's sticking with this, because, we saw in the morning when we got there, I got a Snapchat first thing in the morning from Chris Moore, and it was like 24 degrees up there.
Yeah.
And then unfortunately,
it was chilly.
It was, yeah. And unfortunately, I had taken an hour and a half to prep the track and get it ready to go for racing action there. But I think we said this about down at Georgetown, where if you take that little extra time to go prep the track and get a good race like we saw on Saturday afternoon, I'm fine with it. And plus, you had all day Saturday. I mean, what? I mean, there was a little hope if you wanted to pull the double to get the Port Royal, but other than that, the temps were fine. Saturday night got a little bit chilly, but still, other than that, I mean, why not take that extra time, get the track right?
Yeah, for sure. I wish a lot more day shows would be put on that way instead of rushing through everything and not getting the track 100% that it could be. But I mean, it was bumpy, that's for sure. It got a little rutted up, but hey, we're racing on dirt, not asphalt. So
exactly. So Andy Buchetti picked up the win over Anthony Perego, Matt Shepard, Mat Williamson, and Kyle Coffey. Now we'll take a look down at the Lincoln Speedway here on Saturday afternoon. How about this? Four races, 4 different winners. And this was a heck of a battle between Alan Crimes and Freddie Raymer. Alan started back in the 3rd spot there, and Freddie led a good chunk of that race. And I thought he looked like he was on his way to his first win of the year, finally, after some bad luck the last couple of weeks to start off the season here. And I don't know what happened there towards the end of that race there, but it looked like Freddie slipped up out of the line a little bit. Alan was able to get down low underneath him, and Alan Crimes picked up the win for the 87 team.
Yeah, absolutely. And kind of the way the Outlaws started off their season, 4 different weeks, 4 different winners, which is actually kind of cool to see. Doesn't happen all that often, but in the battle of Little Freddie and Crimes, I think experience won that battle. Not at all saying that Freddie isn't experienced in his own right, but Alan's been doing it a little bit longer.
Well, that too, but I also think Freddie knows how to get around Lincoln very well. And I just think it was just one of those things where the car might have just pushed a little bit and got him out of the rubber a little bit. Yeah. But I mean, there was still a second groove going there at most of that race there. But it looked like that most of it, from what we saw in the highlights, was that it was kind of around the bottom. Not much you can do on a daylight surface, but definitely better. We've been seeing the Lincoln surface get better and better over the last few weeks here. But Alan Crimes picks up the win over Chase Deeds, who finished second. Good rebound from him after the crash last week while leading. Freddie Raymer third, Dane Dietrich fourth, and Brandon Raymer up fifth. Good start to the year for Brandon Raymer, Adam.
Yeah, I think Brandon's shown what he can do now that he's giving a little bit more of an opportunity to race. I mean, granted, we only raced one time at Williams Grove, but that's still more seat time for him. So,
and he looked good in the Westbrook 1W.
Yes, I expect to see a lot of good things out of Brandon going forward with more seat time.
Yeah, hashtag let Brandon race. So, all right. So then up at the Port Royal Speedway, then we'll slide up 322 here to finish up their first back-to-back weekend here. And how about this? The Misfits are back in victory lane. Justin Peck takes home his, I believe, first career Port Royal Speedway win. And that was another good race there where Peck just had the car to beat. In watching from what we saw in the highlights here again, Peck really looked good coming off of 2, and Macri gave him everything he got. I mean, don't get me wrong, Anthony Macri, I mean, he showed that he is there. I mean, he's there to rattle off another run like he did last year. But Peck just had a little bit more coming off of 2. Macri tried to slide him in 3 there with a couple laps to go, but Justin Peck, a great win for the Misfits in the Boot 13 car.
Yeah, I agree. And oddly enough, a couple of weeks ago when we talked to Justin afterwards at Williams Grove, he said he wasn't all that comfortable in Pennsylvania. So I think it's paying off. You know, coming to Pennsylvania,
second in a win so far in PA.
Yeah, coming to Pennsylvania. Coming to Pennsylvania helps a lot of people, career wise. You know, just the talent here. So,
yeah, absolutely. I mean, there is no other place like Central PA when it comes to sprint car racing.
And beating Macri is pretty goddamn impressive, I must say. So,
yeah, especially at Port Royal, especially how good he's been up at.
Yeah, Macri has that place figured out.
Yeah, absolutely. So, as you said, Justin Peck picks up the win up there for the Wecker Livestock 410 Sprint Cars. Anthony Macri second. Logan Wagner in the 3rd spot. Dylan Cisney 4th. And Mike Wagner rebounds for a 5th place finish. So we'll move on to the Super Late Models now. And what a weekend, to tell the truth here. I guess it's a good pun to lead into this. Greg Satterley picks up the first win on Saturday night up there at the Port Royal Speedway, and it's coming off a not that great of a year for the 22 car, but new colors and looks like a new showing here for the Satterley team.
Yeah, I really like the look of that car with the white, the black, and the baby blue. I mean, he didn't change it up all that much, if you really think about it, but I like it.
It's a big difference from what we're used to Saturday.
It is, because it's usually just an all black car with white numbers and the blue outline, but I like the white. Well, the more white that you're getting to see. So
I do too.
Plus the car looks good. But he looks good pretty much right out of the box up at Port. So kind of curious to see how that plays out.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously he's going to do a little more traveling once we get going here. I mean, he's done that the last couple of years. He'll probably be up for the bigger shows at Port, but he always runs well up there. Just he seems to run good. So I wouldn't be surprised if he goes back and forth a little bit here. Maybe might even see him run for the championship. I don't know. But we'll have to wait and see on that here. But the Saturday night feature, if you ask me, if I had to pick between the two there, I thought that the super late models put on the better show of the night up there, just because it just seems like when that track slicks off up there, the 410s are good up there, but the late models just use that polished off track to their advantage like no other division can anywhere else I've seen.
Yeah, I agree. It's for a reason, man. Late model racing has really, I'm not going to say stepped up their game, but they're just, for whatever reason, that good when the track just gets nice and shiny from the top to the bottom. So
absolutely. So Greg Satterley picked up the win over Mikey Norris, Max Blair, Rick Eckert, and Tyler Blair. Then we move on to Sunday afternoon's action up at the Port Royal Speedway for the Bob Hilbert Sportswear Short Track Super Series, fueled by Sunoco Race Fuels for the Spring Speed Showcase 40. And it was an all freezing front row. Adam, you were up there on Saturday afternoon, and to see an all freezing front row, I mean, the first thing you thought in your mind is, well, write the check for Stewart.
Yeah, that's what I thought. And to be honest with you, the first 25 laps of that, I mean, it was good. I wouldn't consider it great racing, but when I started walking over from turn 1 over to the front stretch for Victory Lane and all that good fun stuff, Mat Williamson came out of absolutely nowhere. So, like I looked down and Friesen was leading. I looked over into 3 and 4, and sure enough, Williamson got around him. I was like, wait, what the hell did I miss in a half a lap?
Well, I mean, it was kind of interesting because Williamson was trying to find the middle to the high side up there in 1 and 2, and there was just nothing there. I mean, everyone was kind of stuck to the bottom, and there wasn't much there. But we looked down the back straightaway then, and he gets a hell of a run, and he pushes Friesen out of the groove, gets around him, and goes out and picks up the damn win, his second straight win up at Port Royal. And I when we get him on here in a few minutes here, we'll have Mat Williamson on here in just a few minutes here, folks. Is that he's just figuring this place out. He's knowing how to run this place, especially when it slicks off or it takes rubber, and he's know when to make the move, and he's not afraid to use the bumper when he has to use it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, 40 laps isn't an all too long of a race, but given the daytime circumstances, like most of the SuperDIRTcar series boys, most of them use that to their advantage because they're used to running them longer races. So they have a general idea on what tires they need to put on, what they need to do just by looking at the track from just sheer experience over the years. So, I mean, call it what you will. And Friesen absolutely hates losing too. Like, I don't know if you've ever noticed that, but he hates coming in second or third, especially after he's leading. So,
well, I mean, let's be honest. Who does like that after leading most of a race?
Well, yeah, absolutely. But I don't know. It's odd to see Stewart Friesen end up third after leading. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, I agree with you there, Adam. And Yeah, it is what it is. I mean, I'm glad to see Williamson go up there, get the win up there over Mike Mahaney. Hey, a good run for Mike Mahaney. That's
Yeah.
two top two finishes here over the last couple weeks here with the short track super series. So he'll get second. Stuart Friesen, Jessica Friesen held on for fourth, and Lightning Larry White finish out the top five. And Mike, he's putting on together a very solid start of the season, I think. You know, he got the second down Georgetown in the small block race. He got a second up here up at Port in the big block here. So not a bad start for the 35 car.
Yeah, him and the gang have that car rolling, which is really nice because I'm not going to say he hasn't had the best luck short track super series wise the last couple of years, but he hasn't. So good for him, good for the team. Curious to see how the rest of the season goes. I don't know if he's running north and south, so that could be interesting. See how that shakes out.
I would expect it. I'd be surprised if he didn't run both, honestly. I think it's doable,
Yeah.
and as long as it doesn't conflict with any super dirt races, have at it. So, all right, then we'll switch over to the super late models up there on Saturday afternoon, where Greg Slattery complete the weekend sweep here. And one of the wildest things I think I saw all weekend was seeing Rick Eckert try and pull a slider on Satterley, and something I don't think I've ever saw before. And Eckert goes out and steps on it, coming off of turn 2 at Port Royal and spins down the back straightaway. I was completely shocked. I understand, nobody's perfect, but I was extremely shocked to see that come out of Eckert.
Yeah, absolutely. He's one of the best in the business, especially on the local side of things. But everyone's human, man. Everyone makes a silly mistake every once in a while, and it's not all too often when he actually makes a mistake. So take that for what it's worth.
Yeah, absolutely. Take it for what it's worth there. So Greg Satterley picks up the win over Jeff Ryan, Mike Norris, Dylan Yoder, and Donnie Lingo. In second place there, Jeff Ryan. He did not. 2020 was not kind to Jeff Ryan. It was not. Car didn't look right. He just did not look comfortable. So maybe a second place run here can kind of perk them boys up and get it going here because Ryan. I know Ryan was probably not happy with his performance last year, and I know he's looking for a big 2021.
Yeah, absolutely. He had an off year, which is really odd for him because he's usually very, very good at Port Royal. So glad to see him get a solid start to the season.
Absolutely there. So, all right. So we'll that wraps up all of our results here so far for the weekend here. And while we're waiting for Mat Williamson to join us here, Adam, let's cover what we saw over this weekend with the World of Outlaws Non-Sanity Drink Sprint Car Series, where we saw Friday night a fantastic race out the Cotton Bowl Speedway. There was Sheldon Hodenshield picking up his first win of the season.
Yeah, Cotton Bowl did not disappoint, and
no, it did not.
It almost kind of reminded me about the racing at in Louisiana. So anytime the racing is just that good, I'm all for it because who wants to see boring racing?
Yeah, I sure as hell don't want to see boring racing. But you know what? I mean,
sometimes
it was exciting. You're going to get it, obviously. You're going to get boring racing. I get it. But, I mean, you're also going to get, the Outlaws have been very blessed this year. They got some really good racing to start off the season. I thought, Friday night, it was starting to look a little more on the rubber downside where, all right, maybe we're not going to see too much passing after they redid the track after the factory stock feature. And it came into where it was a fantastic feature where Sheldon Hodenshield went up there and found the high side and just ripped around. I think who was leading? Sweet at the time, or was it Reitzel leading?
I think it was Sweet. I think it might have been Sweet.
Somebody in the comments help correct us too if you can. But either way, I mean, it was still just a fantastic race from the Cotton Bowl there as we saw Sheldon Hodenshield pick up the win on Friday night. And Saturday night, the big cat, Brad Sweet, he's closing. Him and Logan Schuhart, they've been right together for that points lead the entire time there. And Brad Sweet kind of went out there and helped pat it. I believe he took back over the points lead on Saturday night.
I think so too. But before we go any further, can we just take a moment of silence for Jacob Allen?
Yes.
Like, oh God, if there's ever a person you need to feel for, man, him. And like, his interviews never disappoint either. And like, he just flat out said he stepped on it. I mean, it sucks because I think he would have probably ended up winning that race because he definitely had the car to beat, and it's a shame. But that's what happens in racing sometimes.
Yeah, it does. It is what it is when it goes down there, and what are you gonna do? Mistakes happen, but I mean, I saw that the outpour on social media then after for Jacob was absolutely phenomenal. That's why I got the shirt on here tonight, for Jacob, and I tell you what, he's really doing a heck of a job so far for the Shark Racing boys are really coming to his own here, but. Anyway, but then that gave the lead right over to Brad Sweet, and he went on to continue to get the win there for lead 28 30 laps here for the Casey Kane Racing Napa Auto Parts number 49. And then second place went to Brent Marks. Good run for the CJP teams. Third, Corey Eliason. Fourth, David Gravel. And fifth was Sheldon Hansfield. And yeah, Jerry, I think you're right. I think it was Brad that was leading that race at the point there because he went up on the high side there. Brad was stuck down low behind the lap car on Friday night. But back to Saturday night racing there. Brent Marks, second place run for them guys there. And continuing to have a nice little stretch here as they're off on the road. I believe they're coming back in, I want to say this weekend or next weekend, they're going to be back in home. I'm not quite sure off the top of my head, but I think over one of the next 2 weekends, they're going to be back home here soon.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it would make sense. Come back to Pennsylvania, get ready for everything. But right quick, I want to say hi to Kristen, Sierra, and Kenny. So thank you all for tuning in.
Absolutely. So, all right, folks. Well, I tell you what, we'll do this. We'll take our very first commercial break, and we're going to switch it up a little bit here. When we come back, we're going to have our very first guest here, Erin Noel. She's the social media manager for the Flow Racing All-Star Circuit Champions event by Mobile One, and also social media manager for the Eldora Speedway to help us wrap up Women's History Month here. Stay tuned, folks. You're watching the Highside Hustle right here on the National Racing Network.
This Independence Day weekend, kick your party off with a bang. DeWeather Center presents the first annual DeWeather Cares Charity Softball Classic presented by the National Racing Network. The Palmerton Boobies, DeWeather Center Bluecocks, Blue Mountain I-95ers, Pocono Front Platers, Schuylkill County Crackers, Reading Nurses, Catasauqua Blue Tits, and Beltsville Lake Monsters will take the field in Emerald. Find out more on Facebook at DeWeather Center. DeWeather Center, offensively accurate. If there's one thing every car guy hates, it's cleaning the garage. Do you want to take most of the time and hassle out of that job? Then call Zone Garage of Eastern Pennsylvania and New Jersey. Agnes and her crew will have your garage, shop, basement, or even your porch looking great all the time. With unique patterns and designs, plus the ability to incorporate your logo or any artwork, your space will never have looked better. Installation is done in 1 day, guaranteed, and Zone Garage offers a 20-year warranty on the top coat. Their coatings are durable, anti-slipped, and impact resistant. Give them a call at 570-856-6067. That's 570-856-6067 for Zone Garage of Eastern Pennsylvania and New Jersey.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, here to the Highside Hustle right here on the National Racing Network. We're going to get Erin Noel straightened out here real quick here. We'll get her on board here. She is the social media manager for the Ollie's Bargain Outlet All-Star Circuit Flow Racing All-Star Circuit Championship by Mobile One. And, you got to get that stuff right here. And it's been fun to get to talk to a lot of these women over the last month here, Adam, and try and learn their stories. And, Erin is one of the good ones here in the world of racing. She's super nice. She does a hell of a job down Victory Lane because that can be so chaotic to try and get that straight. Now, luckily, she has a good side thing here in Pennsylvania where all the photographers know what to do here. But there she is right now. Ladies and gentlemen, we're bringing her on right now. Erin, how you doing tonight, girl? Good to talk to you.
Hey, how are you guys?
We're doing fantastic, girl. And hey, good to talk to you here, and glad to have you on the show finally. I know it was you were bugging me to get on the show for a while, and I told you when you finally got your pair of Crocs, you can come on the show. And what, it is what it is. But hey, thanks for coming on tonight, girl. And
Yeah,
we're
absolutely.
glad to have you on here. Oh, there we are. I think we're better now. Anyway, so I'm waiting for a delay there because we were having some issues there. But anyways, so Erin, talk to us a little bit about what you do with the Flow Racing All Stars now, and how you got into this crazy world of racing.
Yeah, so this year I have kind of shifted roles within TSR a little bit. I'm now on tour with the All Stars. I do all their social media with Blake and Tyler, of course, doing PR. I do sponsor relations with them at track, sponsorship, fan engagement type stuff. And then while I'm also doing that, I still do all of my merchandise stuff for Tony and Eldora and the TSR brands. So I'm kind of, and actually SRX now too, maybe. We're kind of, we're kind of, I'm kind of all over the place actually. I don't know how I got into this world, but it was very crazy how I got into this world years and years ago, and it's taken me here. So every weekend on the road, so I can't complain.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
definitely
And
not. And God, that I think if I had as many roles in motorsports as you have right now, I think I'd be losing my mind. Like, good Lord.
Well, that's just the main one. I do marketing and PR for Elliot's Custom Trailers and Carts and J&J Auto Racing as well. So I kind of juggle in a lot.
I tell you what, you really are. You do a hell of a job with that because I've seen your posts on Twitter and Facebook, and it's got to be tough to come up with something new every single day when you're talking about a major brand like the All Stars or Tony Stewart Shop.com or Eldora. It's got to be tough to come up with all different stuff each and every day, or it's a little bit easier with how many racers you have.
Um, I think with the All Stars, it's a lot easier because you can always plug and play of a sponsor or an upcoming show or ticket coming show to help the track cross promote. Um, the brand wise, it's a little bit harder because you can only push so much of merchandise, or we don't really necessarily have a set schedule with Tony sometimes, so it can be really chaotic, like, oh, 20 minutes down the road, oh, I saw your merchandise trailer in Hanover, Pennsylvania, it looks like Tony's racing. It's like, yeah, you're right, he is. So we kind of wanted it secret, but that stuff can get a little bit difficult, but there's always something out there to talk about, promote, to whether it be a product, a trailer, a t-shirt. It's something. You just got to be really creative with how you do it so it doesn't be repetitive.
And how hard is it to be creative, but also not repetitive in the same aspect? I would have to imagine that has to be insanely difficult.
I have a really great team behind me too that really helped me, that really, um, Erin, you shouldn't do that. You just did that last week. Or let's switch this up a bit, shall we? And it's like, oh yeah, you're right. This is getting really stale. Let's turn our heads to somebody else that we can do. Or with Elliot's trailers, I think that one's kind of a little bit difficult because um, you can only shout out so many times to all these like vendors and all the trailer making vendors, but it's like, oh, why don't we do like fiber optics? We're doing a fiber optic trailer now, and we're doing different things that can help with changing it up a little bit. So that part is kind of difficult, but like merchandise and stuff, you guys have starts right now, so it like I can judge off that and be like, oh, I really like that. Let's change that. Let's do this design with that color, but I like that font. So it's I don't know. It's pretty easy in a way, but you're right. It does get challenging.
take us through a night for you at the racetrack, because I know when we first come in and we see you over, I see you over at the Tony Stewart merch trailer when Tony's racing, and then by the end of the night you're hustling around in Victory Lane with Altmeyer and Blake. And talk to us about your entire night, how normally day goes like on race day.
Well, that all changes now. So when I hit the racetrack, I'm in all-star gear. I have an intern that will do my trailer for me with Gooch and travel up and down the road for that.
And Eleonora. You didn't have an intern.
I know. Now I don't have to play like 12 hat games and all of that, So, but no, I ride with, I have to ride with Blake.
God bless you.
Right, that's what I always say too. So I have to ride with him, and then from there we just hit the ground running, building the events, banners, infield banners, whatever it may be that we need to do to get done, sign sponsor relations, we just get it done.
Typically, how long does it take you guys to set up for an event, like start to finish with, like you said, the banners? I'm sure Flo does their own thing with running wires and all that stuff, but generally, how long does it take to get everything all set up and ready to roll for the night?
It could take anywhere from a couple of hours, but I'd say probably 2 or 3 hours, depending on what we need to get done and how far of a drive it is to the track the next day. We all arrive kind of at the same time, and we all have our assigned duties. So, Bill and Kenny have their assigned duties. Tyler, me, and Blake have our assigned duties. Walls does, he does most of the banners with Topper. But we all, I would say probably about 2 to 3 hours, and we all work together and we all do our own. If we don't do our own part of our job, then obviously somebody else takes the slack for that. And then it gets, that's where tension gets really created. But we do a very good job of working together, of knowing what needs to be done. There's a lot of things
You're breaking some news here. Steve Topper actually does work for the All-Stars?
Yes, he does.
Stuff in his face? Oh,
he's getting better.
Yes, he's getting better. Yes, he is. I'll agree with that.
I mean, he is, he is the concession stand inspector everywhere we go. So we know what's good and what's not
fair.
Hey, someone's got to do it.
Right?
Yes. By the way, Topper,
he can tell you all
we're thinking of you, buddy.
Yes,
we are. By the way. Anyway, so let's switch over here now for the All-Stars, since you are going to be traveling with them this year. Am I wrong to say that it's Corey's championship to lose this year? I know you got a lot of competition. I know Justin's showing a lot of great early season speed here, but in my mind, is it Corey's title to lose, or am I crazy here?
Well, I'm really good friends with Corey, so I feel like I'm like, oh, if he hears this, then I'm gonna get a text or something.
Nobody watches this, Aaron. Let it fly.
Whatever. He could hate me. I think he's going to have a run for his money. I think Tyler Courtney is going to come out strong. But I also think Justin Peck's going to come out there throwing punches too. And he can't, I wouldn't underestimate Hunter or Lucas Wolf either in the situation. Lucas has been on the road. He knows exactly what it takes to get up and down. While Corey is a veteran, Lucas has a little bit more years on him with a little bit more knowledge of some of the racetracks that we've been to. And I just have a really good, it's going to come down to Justin Peck, Corey Eliason, and Tyler Courtney.
I like it. I think you nailed it on the head there, the top three there. I think, you got the four there. Those are good names. And Lucas, he's got a rebound here at some point. He's been struggling, since the wreck up at Lebanon Valley, but it's got a rebound at some point for him. We're not going to see Lucas struggle forever, and this would be a hell of a rebound for him to come out there and get an all-star title.
Oh, I agree. And it's great to have him on Tour 2, because he's one of those guys that if he's mad, he'll talk to you on the side. He's not going to, make a scene. He's not going to, take it to Twitter, all the things that a series doesn't want a driver to do. But yeah, he's one of the good ones, and we're happy to have him.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you definitely can't forget about Brent Marks in that fold either.
You know what? We did.
We did.
Yeah.
We did.
Oh, I like him.
We're horrible
people.
We'll just
we're just sprinkle Justin Marks in. We'll just sprinkle him in.
No, Brent Marks, not Justin.
Whatever. What'd I say?
You said Justin.
No, I didn't. I said Brent Marks.
Yeah.
Oh, did I? Whatever.
Yes, you did.
They all run together as long as they're. As long as they're nice.
I think Brent's gonna have something to say about the whole thing.
I think so.
He in my opinion, he has experience on the road. I can easily see him being top 3 at the end of the year.
Very easily, yeah. Like I said, we're sprinkling him in there like confetti.
We didn't forget him. Yes, seriously. So you were saying about some of the tracks that you go to, and last year was such a weird year for you guys. You started out, down in Florida, and you didn't race until you got back, up into the Dakotas. I mean, who would have thought that your season would have resumed up into the Dakotas, and then you're just everywhere, Weichert weekend, what was that, middle of June or something like that. Then you had, just no fans at
Texas,
Eldora for the
Oklahoma,
Texas. Oh, let me tell you, that Thunder Through the Plains was one of the coolest racing ideas ever come out of that pandemic. 410s in the plains need to happen more often, in my mind.
Yeah, we actually really loved racing there. The series, we worked well with their promoters. It just didn't this year. Unfortunately, we were all really bummed that we couldn't get there. Hopefully next year we'll be able to make it back. That's our goal.
All right, let me ask you about that. The race, what was that, at Red River between Larson, Reitzel, and Dietrich? Was that not one of the greatest races you've ever seen in your life?
No, I agree. Yeah, I've been around this a lot.
Yeah, insane. I mean, that just goes to show that you guys can.
And I love that racetrack. That racetrack was awesome. The promoter was so great. Him and his wife. I mean, they did anything and everything they could do for the series, for the t-shirt vendors, everything. They're it.
Yeah.
So Bert kind of hit on it a little bit. How eerie is an empty Eldora Speedway while there's an actual race going on? Like, because I've been there. I was out for 4 Crown a couple years ago, and to see that place packed to the gills and then to nothing, I couldn't even imagine what that feels like. You can probably almost hear a pin drop when there isn't a car on the track.
It's so funny that you say that, because while the fans make the event no matter where it is, Eldora or not, I actually kind of liked it without fans in the pits, because you can not, everyone's not constantly around everybody. You could just do your job and at peace. Like, that was awesome. But at the flip side, I went to Eldora today to check on my trailer and my store there, but and it was so eerie. There was like just nobody there besides Roger and the track guy, and it was like, it was just weird. It was like, okay, I kind of miss everybody. I kind of miss, all those drunken people, like, asking what time it was and who's racing and, like, what day of the week. And you're just kind of like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't even imagine that.
I'm going to ask you again after your All-Star race out there and see if you really did miss those people. I'm going to ask you that. You won't.
I can't say that because those people buy my T-shirts. So
that's true.
I need them.
That is true. Go see Erin with your toilet bowls, please.
Yes, I'll take all your money.
Oh my God! The best part about Eldora is the toilet bowl.
Oh my gosh, no, the royal flush. The royal flush is it.
That's it.
I'll have to try it.
Oh, it's so good, especially in the mornings. I do not drink on my job, so don't think that. But I've had a few after hours. I'm just gonna say that.
You were a fan at some point, it was quality control. Yeah. It was quality control.
That's right.
Topper show.
I had to test it out so I could tell everybody.
Yeah, exactly. Erin, this has been so much fun tonight, girl. You guys are coming back, I believe, what, in 10 days from the day you guys are back, and you guys got a lot of
Yep.
races planned up this year. Tell us where everyone can find all the information, and also where they can go check out all your stuff for Tony Stewart store.
The TonyStewartStore.com has all of Tony Stewart brand. We have Smoke Air now, which is brand. And we also have Eldora Speedway, and anything all related can go to TonyStewartStore.com. And then for the All-Stars, it's AllStarsSprint.com. You can check out our schedule, which is constantly being updated. And you can check us out on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at ASCOC and the All-Star Circuit of Champions.
Erin, you were fantastic, girl. Great talking to you. We'll see you here in about 3 weeks, I guess.
Yeah.
When you guys come into Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Have fun.
You better have some Crocs for me.
I got their Purdue ones, and they're coming in. I got your Purdue Crocs for you.
All right. Make sure they're bedazzled.
I will bedazzle the hell out of them for you. You're the best, girl.
I never
Thanks for coming on.
But...
Yeah, you better. How's the deal?
All right. Bye, guys. Thank you.
Coming on. See ya.
Thank you.
There she goes. Thanks. Erin Noel joining us here. Oh, my God. That was fantastic. She was it's so cool to hear how a night goes when you're on social media and all that, because you're in a day and age now where social media rules everything. And if you don't have that, you're not on board. Your fans don't know what to do. Sure, you have that old school fan base where they call the track and all that, but every now and then, everyone nowadays has that phone.
Well, I'm 28. I still call the track every once in a while. Like, come on now.
Sorry, Grandpa. Anyway, but still.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, exactly. But still, I mean, you look on your phone there, boom, the data's right there for you. And also to keep engaging with the fans throughout the week here. It's a tough job, and she wears so many hats. She's a great I knew as soon as we were talking about this, she'd be a great guest for this. Erin, thank you so much for coming on, girl. We'll see you in a couple weeks here with the Flow Racing All-Star Circuit Champions presented by Mobile. And she gave a little bit of a good teaser there, I think. You know, she gave 5 really good names for this All-Star title, and I got to agree with her.
Yeah, I think the All-Star is going to probably have one of the most competitive seasons they've had in quite a while. I mean, you lost a couple cars here or there, but you also gained quite a few really good cars. So it should be fun.
Yeah, it should be a lot of fun, I think, here. So, all right. So we have no idea where Mat Williamson got to. So we'll hopefully he'll be on. If he's on before we end the show here, we'll definitely we'll bring him on real quick. But Adam, let's go into your spiel about news here. What do you got here, bud?
Ooh, weekly news with good old Adam Rubright. No, so Mike Marlar is going to be on the pole for one of the Truck Series heat races on Saturday.
Heat number 1.
Yep. Other heat race pole sitters include Mat Snyder. Hope I didn't absolutely butcher the pronunciation of that first name. Haley Deegan, and talking about him earlier, J.R. Hefner.
J.R. Hefner. Oh, okay. I was not expecting J.R. I didn't know he had a truck ride. Okay.
Me either, unless it's a different J.R. Hefner. I don't know.
I believe he's in Jordan Anderson's car. Truck.
And that is J.R. Hefner that was running big blocks, right, Chris?
Yeah. Yeah, that's him.
Okay.
I'm looking through this lineup here you put up here right now. I'm looking right now at Heat 3, row number 5.
Well, that's the one I sent.
Kyle Larson, Norm Benning.
Oh, okay. Then Chris sent the right one, because the one I sent earlier was the Cup Series, which we'll get into that.
Yeah, I'm looking at the truck one right now. But yeah, right now, row 5, heat number 3, Kyle Larson, Norm Benning. That's
Larson's gonna win that
easily.
Like he's gonna probably Texas. He's probably gonna Texas 2-step his way on straight to the front. So
I only hope we get to see Norm Benning do another Clay Greenfield deal this weekend.
Yeah,
that place would go absolutely ballistic.
I think by heat 3, I think he'll have a good idea what the track's going to do, honestly. So
for sure.
I can't see why,
Are they?
So Okay, so let me start this. I'll be honest. I have not watched too many Eldora Dirt Derbies just because I don't normally get FS1 and it's so hard to find a link or whatever online. I know. Thank you.
I
Yes,
am
I know.
appalled.
But yeah, you should be. But anyway, so how the heat racing for that? Was there a lot of passing for there, or are we going to be, or can we? Yeah, there was. Okay,
definitely. I mean, plus whatever Bristol did down on the bottom to simulate a tractor tire without that real tractor tire feel and like little dirt mounds. I foresee a couple people going airborne off of them bad boys. So that'll be adds a little extra flavor into it.
Well, thank God they don't have a splitter on there. I mean, not only would they be ripped off on the track, but you'd be ripping them off on the turtle shells there. So that's gonna be fun to watch. I think on Saturday.
Yeah, I'm really excited.
I'm looking forward to that.
I mean,
and then
there's a lot of good. Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead, Adam.
There's a lot of good racing on in person, but I'm actually really curious to see what goes on at Bristol. To be truthfully honest, because aren't they doing Cup heat races Saturday too?
Yes, I believe so. As I'm looking through the lineups right now, Kevin Harvick starting 10th in Heat 1. That should be fun to watch. Who else I see here? Chase Briscoe starting 11th in Heat 3. Ryan Newman 3rd in Heat 4. Let's see here. Yeah, I mean that's kind of the ones I really point out here. We'll switch over to the Cup side here for Saturday night. Here is
speaking of the Cup Series, Heat 2. Take my money. I wish I had all of the money in the world to bet on that.
Let's start with Heat 1 here. How the hell is Quinn Huff lined up on the front row?
Random draw. Random draw by car owner points.
Okay. All right. There we go. Perfect. So, so Quinn Huff and Kyle Larson. Take Kyle Larson in that one. He'll be on the pole of the feature. Now, how are they doing? Are they doing a redraw or are they doing an invert? Or are they doing straight up?
Passing point style. I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Yes, that is a passing point system where you get 10 points for winning the heat race, back to 1 point for 10th. So go 10 back to 1. Plus 1 point for every truck or car you pass during the heat race.
Really?
So, Heat 2 in the trucks, I think it is, when you've got like 5 dirt aces starting in the last 5 positions. Those guys could theoretically, you could earn 20 points. Start 10th, pass all the way to the front. You get 1 point for each truck passed, plus 10 points for the heat race win. Take all the point earners, line them up, and that's how your field's going to line up. Top 7 transfer out of each race. So there's no last chance qualifier. There's none of that stuff. Top 7 from each heat race, and then line them up by points.
If I got to do this every week, I'd be a lot more interested in NASCAR, to be honest with you.
I would be. I'd be.
If you think this isn't a test balloon, you're crazy.
Oh, yeah. It is. I think you're gonna be looking at this when you go to more of the short tracks that they're talking about, more of the fairground tracks that they're kind of hitting at here. I would love to see this format when they get to Nashville in a couple weeks or in a couple months. Maybe not this year. Neat. Like maybe give Nashville its big pop and circumstance. The 400 lap race at the fairgrounds.
No. It's not at the fairgrounds this year. It's at the Super Speedway in Lebanon, about 40 miles away.
Are you sure about that?
Yes, they are going back. Hopefully, they're going to be back to the fairgrounds by 23, is what it sounds like.
Okay, because I was under the impression that it was at the fairgrounds this year. National Super Speedway. Okay, all right, yep. All right, so never mind. So anyway, maybe this could be a test end for when they go to the fairgrounds in 2023.
Yeah. I'd be
for that.
I'm all for it.
Yeah. But anyway, you were saying about that second heat, the drivers in that. Brad Keselowski, Mike Marlar is going to run down the outside of the front row there. Daniel Suarez, Michael McDowell, John Billick, and then William Byron. And then you start with Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Christopher Bell, Austin Dillon, and Chris Buescher. Somebody's winning that heat from the back.
Yeah.
No offense or buts.
Well, I didn't hear a whole lot of. I was getting a text from Williamson. He wants to know if it's too late to come on. I said,
No, bring him
absolutely
on.
not.
Get him going. We'll get him in here in a few minutes, but we'll finish this up. But anyway, what I'm saying is somebody's going to win this from the back.
Oh, definitely. He too really has my eye. Like, I'm gonna really, really enjoy that slugfest.
Yeah. And as I look through here, Heat 4 is going to have Corey LaJoie on the front row, Matt DiBenedetto, last week's guest, Chris Wyndham. He'll be starting at third. So, and then Chase Elliott, I'm interested to see what he's going to do. He's starting eighth. Stuart Friesen is starting sixth. And by the way, can I just say Ross Chastain's post this week about him being on a tractor, being the most experienced on dirt? I mean, it was funny, but yet I also really, really hated it. I really hated that post. I don't know why. I just really hated that post. I didn't get it. I just don't. When you have guys that have been on dirt, like Christopher Bell, been on dirt since he was in diapers probably, or guys like Wyndham or Friesen. Like most of these guys in NASCAR are on dirt.
Yeah, absolutely. Matt is going to call in now. So,
all right, get him rolling. We'll get him set up here. No. So, what else you got in your news and notes?
I completely forgot what I was going to say there, but yeah, Tanner Thorson going to be tabbed as the pilot for the Reinbold Racing 19 AZ for the entire USAC sprint car season.
Good call there. I think that's a good driver there, and I'm kind of curious to see what Tanner's going to do, if he's going to come back run in the Hefner, or not the Hefner, the Shawn Michael 2020 car again this year or not.
Silver Crown
was good in that car this year. What's that?
He did. Pretty much.
I'm talking about the wing car.
Yeah. I'd like to see it for sure.
I would be absolutely all for seeing that. I mean, he looked good in it. He looked comfortable, and I believe down at Susky he was running top 5 most of the night down there, and Sean's putting together a nice little program there with his stuff. Him and Mike Hefner, they get together a lot, but I mean his own equipment has been fairly good stuff, and he's been putting some really good guys in that car.
Yeah, for sure. There's definitely, it hasn't been a lack of talent in any of the cars that he's put together, but looks like we have Matt logged in. I don't know if Chris wants to patch him on in for us.
Yep, we'll get him going here as soon as Chris gives us the okay that he's ready to go. We'll get him on here, and ladies and gentlemen, this man has gotten a hell of a run up at the Port Royal Speedway going lately. He is also the 2019 SuperDIRTcar Series champion. He won last Sunday out at the Port Royal Speedway. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Mr. Mat Williamson. Matt, welcome to the Highside Hustle, bud. Thanks for joining us here.
Thanks for having me on, guys. Sorry I'm late. I kind of blew it. I forgot all about it. Got into a meeting with the mortgage broker, and I checked my Instagram messages when I left and checked my email, and I felt like a dumbass.
It's all good, buddy. I mean, look, real life shit comes before this little internet show or whatever you want to call it. But we appreciate that there, and you can't blow those mortgage brokers off because it's a buyer's market. You got to buy when you can.
Yeah, it's something like that. I think it's a seller's market up here. We're getting shafted, but I mean, we're getting through it.
Oh, what a deal! Hey, congratulations, bud, on a hell of a win up at Port Royal on Sunday afternoon. You're really taking a liking in that place, aren't you?
Yeah, I mean, it's just fun to race at. The atmosphere there is great. I'm telling everybody up here now, like if the border opens back up, that race in October is going to turn into a super dirt week like atmosphere. It's pretty cool. Brett put it together, that 200 last year in such a short amount of time that it really turned out to be a great event for how short amount of time he had. Yeah, I mean, it's cool. I look forward to going every time. Even the gas stations, you get to stop at Sheetz on the way, and even the gas stations out in Pennsylvania are fun. So, I certainly like Port Royal.
Oh boy. So hold on, Adam, before you answer this here. So you just said about the Super Dirt Week atmosphere. up at Port Royal. Could you imagine that? You get the posse guys, and we know how the posse guys like to party during the outlaw races around here. You get them combined with your crazy Canadians coming down, your New Yorkers for Super Dirt Week time. Oh my God, that is a shit show on another level there.
Yeah, that is for sure. I mean, I've already been at Super Dirt Week, completely three sheets to the wind, camping next to French Canadians, not being able to understand a single word that is coming out of their mouth. And like, you don't know which way is up at that point, but to Super Dirt Week and the Speed Showcase 200, I think that's going to be a really, really close comparison to the two, especially this year now that Brett has an entire year to prepare for it.
Yeah, it'll be one for to put on the calendar and highlight it and put a star beside it, because it'll be a cool race for sure.
Absolutely. So let's talk about 2020 a little bit here, because you were just saying about how with the Canadian border being closed with the whole pandemic and that, how tough was that for you to even just get across over here to be able to race, and then also just everything else going on? I mean, how tough was 2020 for you guys? I mean, you still came out there, still got, I believe from what I did some research on, you still got 16 wins last year.
Yeah, I mean, it was tough. In the beginning, we didn't know whether we were going to be able to cross or not. It just took some guts to roll up to the border and kind of just explain our situation. And you get somebody that's either having a good day or a bad day, and when they're having a good day, it's not a bad time at all. And when they're having a bad day, it gets nerve-wracking. And you got to call people and do whatever you can to explain the situation and make it easy for them to understand. So it was stressful towards the end, like Oktoberfest area. It got to be where we kind of knew what to expect. And then, Florida went easy. Florida was probably the easiest time that I had ever crossing the border. So it's been up and down, and I think now we kind of know what to expect, which is nice. But I hope it's all uphill from here, and I hope that we can kind of get back to some normalcy by the midsummer.
Yeah, for sure. And before we continue on, Kenny Bruce says you're welcome. Not sure what that's about, but
Kenny texted me as I was leaving the mortgage brokers. He's like, "Were you supposed to be on a radio show?" I'm like, "Oh shit." Yes, I was.
Oh God, I love that man.
God.
I love Kenny. Oh, thank you for once again. Kenny Bruce saves our ass.
I'm sorry, guys.
No,
you're
man.
fine. We know how hectic it gets around.
Like this. It makes for a lot of fun like this. But anyway, here, this whole deal here with the Deo series. I mean, this series has really come into its own the last couple of years, and it seems like a lot of the modified guys are really taking on to this series and what Brett has done. And you got guys like yourself coming down, even from Super Dirt Series territory up in Canada and up in upstate New York, coming all the way down here to Delaware, Pennsylvania, and running with this series. What is it about this series that it attracts so many people?
At this point in time, I think that really Brett's got the advantage just because he's the only one that's racing.
All right, well, that's true too.
I think that, it certainly is. It's a good deal what he's got going on, with taking over Utica, and he's got Fonda now. And, I think he's got Dirt pretty nervous, but there are some things that, he needs to work on too. The motor program probably needs to be a little bit more cost effective. I'm fortunate enough that, I drive for Harry and Jeff Barrett, and we have, 3 options of motors to bring to the racetrack. But, my own, if I ever got fired in my own deal, I'd be screwed at 50% of the racetracks Brett goes to, because I only have a big block or a spec small block. So I think that he could probably make that better. And I don't like the draw starts. I mean, it shows this weekend, where did Shepard finish at Port Royal in the back, because there was not really any passing in the heat races, and he had an unfortunate draw. And last year that was me. Every race we went to, we drew in the back, and it seems like the first 2 races we went to this year, Selinsgrove and Port Royal, I had 2 decent draws, and it set my night up to be pretty decent. So just little things I think that he could either do, if you don't want to do time trials, you could do passing points or do something that made it so that you still had an opportunity to start up front if you pass, 4 or 5 guys in the heat race, as opposed to starting on the pole and finishing second and still making the redraw.
All right, and before we get in there, what's your thoughts on the whole time trial thing here? Me personally, I feel like they're better off in the sprint car late model type thing. I feel like modified should be a little bit more of a draw thing. But what's your thoughts on doing the whole time trial thing here? I mean, for us down here, it's a little bit weird just because we're not used to having a whole time trial format with the modifieds.
I like time trials because it rewards your hard work. But obviously, I see both sides of it. From a fan standpoint, it's probably better to watch, Stuart, Matt, myself, and Larry start last in heat races and try and make our way up, as opposed to starting up front and winning a heat race and not seeing much passing. But that's why I think like the passing points deal is probably something that needs to be looked into. That if we're going to do a draw, you can do passing points. That if you draw in the back of the heat race and you pass 5 cars, you still got an opportunity to start up front. So it's a tough situation. You go to a lot of places like Port Royal, for example, that you can normally pass, and it doesn't tend to matter where you start in the heat race. But then we go to some places like I-88 or Thunder Mountain, where you're lucky to start 6th and finish 3rd. That's a good heat race. So there's a plus and a minus to every situation, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. And I-88, God, that is one tricky racetrack. I remember going up there a couple of years ago to help the guy that I was helping. But between the two, the big tracks or the small tracks, which one more plays into your driving style?
It's kind of funny, Port Royal is, I would say, a bigger place. Oswego, we want to race at. It's a bigger place. Orange County is a bigger place. I've won some big races at bigger racetracks, but we race every week at Merrittville and Humberstone, and they're little 3/8 mile, slippery bull rings. So that's a tough one to answer. I think that you got to almost be adaptive. You got to be good at both. And luckily we race on a big variety of tracks that we kind of don't really notice a difference big to small, and you just got to get up on the wheel when you get to a place that needs getting up on the wheel at. So yeah, I don't know how to answer that.
Matt, one of the big things that's coming out of modifieds right now is, you touched on it before, between the big block, the spec small block, and the open small block. What's going on with all this here? Because it sounds like there's a lot of guys that are running these open small blocks against some of these big blocks, and are doing well, especially down this way here. What's your thoughts on this whole situation going on right now?
I mean, that's what we ran this weekend. We had a big small block at Brett's races, and Brett's tried to even out the big blocks, or big small block, big block deal, because they both have to weigh the same now. So on the weekend we had to weigh 2,500 pounds, and they drive very similar to a big block. I didn't really notice a difference between Jeff's big block and the motor we ran this weekend, which was a 440 small block. But when we first brought out that open small block, it was a 20. I think we were allowed to weigh 2,400 pounds or something like that. I think there was a weight break for them, or up to a certain cubic inch. Jeff knew the rules pretty good, and I think that's why he ordered it. But we had sent it back twice to Clements to get toned down, because it was an animal. It was that thing was a stump puller. So it's weird. It's almost like the dirt 358 deal right now with the W16s and the spec small blocks. Some racetracks you go to, you have to have a W16. Some racetracks you go to, you have to have a spec small block, in order to put yourself in a position to win. So that's where I think Brett's at right now with having so many motor options. But it also, the plus side to it, it also keeps the guy that's got a motor under the bench, no matter what it is, he can come racing. So there's many ways to skin a cat, I guess you could say, but it's interesting right now.
Yeah, for sure. And there's so much difference between all of the chassis manufacturers too, and now the last couple of years you're thrown back into coils out of nowhere. What it seemed like, I mean, for the longest time everyone was running torsion bars, but now we're kind of back to coils and this left side panhard stuff. And it, put into your perspective on how different the car feels between the coils versus the torsion bars, and then you add in that left side panhard that really throws the car up onto the right front, and just what does that feel like?
You know, it's hard to describe, but I think an easy way to put it would be like driving a torsion bar car with a right side panhard would almost be like driving a Cadillac, an old Cadillac. You know, them ones like Corella DeVille would drive. And driving a coil car with a left side panhard bar is like driving one of them Honda 250 3-wheelers that killed a lot of people.
Oh God,
that's what it's like. I mean, you certainly get bucked around. I mean, I had a conversation with Steve Kirky and Jeff Barrett today about headrest padding because when we were at Sealands Grove, my ear started bleeding and it broke my helmet just from getting bounced around.
Oh.
So yeah, it's they're violent. They're violent animals, but they're fast, and it makes for, I guess, good racing. Some tracks, it certainly made the modifieds faster. But yeah, it's fun right now. I mean, dirt's allowed lockout nuts and stack springs, which kind of opens it up, and it should make for better racing because it'll make the line to win a lot thinner than when we weren't allowed lockout nuts and everybody was kind of on the same package.
Hell, I mean, I don't know how much fun that is having your ear bleeding during a race. Good Lord, man!
I think I got sensitive ears, I guess.
Oh, it's a higher elevation at Sealands Grove by the river.
That's right. That's the way I'm going to tell my doctor, anyways.
Exactly.
And those coil cars, they're so hit or miss. One night you're on, and the next week you can go to the same track with the same setup and be completely out to lunch. It's just there's no. Yeah, I'm not going to say like weird. A fine line there, but they're very finicky.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, the standard BRP package is pretty good. That if you know what you're doing and you scale the car pretty decent to what it says in the setup book, and you follow along with the spring rates and stuff like that, you can go and run top 5 anywhere. It's a pretty open, bigger line, we should say, that you're walking than when you get the stack springs and different combinations and trying to find the magic, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's talk about a little bit what 2021 has entailed for you here. Where are we going to be running at? Where are you going to be? Are you going to be doing a weekly thing? Or are you going to be doing your usual travel deal here? Are we going to go after another Super Dirt Series championship? What are we doing here?
We're going to, focus on the Super Dirt Series championship. Obviously, that's number one priority to defend that. We're going to try and win a points championship at Ranceville, something we've never done before. Johnny Coco, Paul Wendt, Pete Coco, and the guys up that area, they got a new car this year and new Billy the Kid small block. So we're gonna try and head over there. It didn't open last year there, unfortunately, and hopefully this year it will and kind of get back to normal. But yeah, we're gonna focus on them two things. Next Saturday we're gonna go to Orange County. We're gonna try and actually chase an Orange County championship the way that they have it set up. I think that we can do it because we just have to. It's like the Sweet 16 deal or like March Madness kind of format. You don't actually have to be there every week, which falls into our play. And we're gonna hit, like I said, just travel all over. May 1st we're gonna race at Lebanon Valley. May 8th we're gonna race at Merrittville. We're gonna race at Humberstone. We're gonna go back up Eastern Canada, Quebec, Cornwall, Brockville. We're gonna be everywhere. Hopefully we can get up to 80 something races this year. Last year we did 50 with COVID, so I'm hoping. I think we got 100 planned, but obviously we're gonna have rainouts and cancellations and stuff.
Oh, there we go. Gotcha. I mean, you cut out there a little bit, bud. Anyway, you were saying about Lebanon Valley, then we lost you there.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're good.
Yeah, we're going to try and do 80 races. We're going to the Valley on the 1st of May, Merrittville on the 8th of May, and we're gonna just travel around. Head to Eastern Canada, Quebec, Cornwall, Brockville. Just hit and miss. Anytime a race is paying more than normal, we're gonna go and race it.
I want to swing it back here now to that 2019 Super Dirt Series Championship, because you did something that I didn't think was going to be possible, and that was knock off both Stewart and Shepard. And that last race at Charlotte, that place went nuts for you guys for that modified feature. That was one of the top 5 modified feature I think I've ever seen in my life there. That night, how can you describe that night to the fans?
Nerve-wracking. Obviously, it was like David and Goliath. Matt's won a ton of these races and a ton of these championships on the Super Dirt Series, and I was a bag of potatoes. I was nervous and didn't really know what was right, what was wrong, and we just went into the race and kind of kept our head cool and raced as hard as I possibly could. I know I was racing with Maraska at the end of the race, and I apologized to him in Victor Lane because I kind of slide jobbed him. I think he had a run on me out of 4. I kind of slide jobbed him and took his lane away per se. It wasn't really a slide job, but I was just driving very aggressive and just trying to stay up front because I didn't know how far back Matt was, and I didn't know what we had to do to win that deal.
Yeah, Bert seems to be asking all the good racing questions, and I'm over here like trying to pick your brain about chassis and stuff. So we know you have.
What are you really getting after here, pig?
Oh, I'm not getting after anything because we're not racing this year. So I'm strictly photographer this year. But no,
hey, it's fun to pick your brains like that.
It is. It's nice to have a different input from a different driver. Just random questions. So we know you're in what the Barons 3. You have the Buzz 288, I believe. Are those similar cars? Are they Bicknells, TOs, Troyers, Higfab? What are they? Are they similar or are they completely different?
Yeah, every car we have is a Bicknell car. Every team I drive for has Bicknell cars. I actually work at Bicknells putting bodies on. My dad's part owners with Pete and Bob. So I would be disowned if I ever drove. Yeah, if I ever drove a TO or a Troyer, I think I'd get disowned. But yeah, they're very similar. Obviously, with the transition from torsion bars to coils in the last couple of years, we've been building cars that are coil only cars. They don't have torsion racks in them. And then recently, we've started making short rod only cars that don't have brackets built into the frame. They have them fixed mount for the rear radius rods. But yeah, the car we were on Port Royal with, that was a 2018 car that had a torsion rack in it and brackets on it, and it wasn't one of the newer lighter cars. But everything is set up very similar. Every car owner that I drive for has good people to either set the car up or they set them up themselves. And everybody's very smart with scaling the race cars to make it so that they're all similar when you get on them.
Matt, yeah, for sure. Before we let you go here, sorry, go ahead, Adam.
I just have one quick question before we let you out of here, like Bert said. How difficult is it to get cars and race trailers and all that stuff through the border? Because I heard it could be a pretty big pain in the ass.
It's, in a normal time, I don't know if you could do it right now with the way the border shut down. I haven't tried that one yet. I was actually thinking about trying it for Port Royal because I didn't think Jeff was going to be able to bring his car. And Spot was trying to get ready for Bristol in a couple weeks. But, yeah, it's on a normal day, it's not too bad. We can go over to Rantsville with a race car trailer, and, it's about half hour at the border on the way over and maybe half hour on the way back. Sometimes you roll right up into the booth and you don't have an issue at all, and sometimes you got to wait in a little bit of a line, but not very often do they pull you into secondary inspection. And they're pretty good, even like especially Friday nights. You're crossing 15 minutes from the racetrack, and there's about 30 of us that cross with race cars to go over to Rantsville, and probably 300, 400 fans from Ontario going into Rantsville Speedway. So the border guards see all that and see the people going, and they kind of know, if you roll back from the racetrack, 2 hours after anybody else has crossed from that same race, and you say you were at Rentsville, they ask you about drinking and stuff like that. They're pretty smart with that, but yeah, it's not too bad.
So we didn't even touch on this. Bristol, how excited are we for that? And what's your thoughts on this, man? We've been almost every guest we had so far had something to do with Bristol coming up here at the end of April here. And how what's our feelings on that? Because I think the only thing you guys can even compare it to with the Super Dirt Car Series or even modifieds in general would be racing them at Eldora.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I watched actually. I watched it at the beginning when they had all the late model testing and the IMCA testing and stuff like that, and I got very nervous because it didn't look like it was going to be any fun to race on. And then I watched the late model race there from last weekend, and we watched it actually after Selinsgrove. We went back to the hotel and watched it. We were all throwing around ideas, but it's going to be a pretty cool race. They have done a good job with the surface, and I think it's only going to get better. This is the first week I think I've been excited to watch a NASCAR race in probably 10 years. So
I hear you there.
Cool. Yeah, so that's like I'm looking forward to it like it's Super Bowl Sunday. So that's pretty cool that they've done it and they've kind of caught on to what's growing in the world. But it's going to be, I think if I look like if I had if I didn't have a dog in the race, I would say that it's either going to go really good or really bad for a lot of people, but I'm hoping that it's not like that. I'm hoping we can put on a good show for the fans and not spend a lot of money in the Northeast doing it.
Well, I hope so, man. I really do. We're both looking forward to this. I know you're excited for it. We appreciate you coming on here, but before I ask you to throw out your responses there, you mentioned at the start of this interview sheets, and I'm glad you have a brain in your head that you said sheets and not Wawa, but you also got to throw in there rudders. Because Rudder's got some pretty damn good food too. So sheets and when you're going to 322 there, you have the Rudders there and you have the sheets. I mean, I know I'm not sure which way you guys come in there, but you have the Rudders and Port Royal there too. But I mean, I'm glad to see you have a brain in your head that you went with sheets instead of saying something stupid like Wawa.
Yeah, I guess I'm gonna have to try that Rudders out. We drive by it every time, and I've never been in there. And I see that they sponsor the racetrack, so it definitely is probably somewhere I should go instead of going to somewhere that doesn't sponsor the racetrack.
I tell you what, Sheets is not a bad pick though. But I tell you what, Rudders though, the food is phenomenal. It is an absolutely a great place to go here. But Matt, thank you so much for coming on here, bud. I appreciate you joining us here, and it's been a lot of fun talking to you. Who do you got to thank for your win? Who you got to thank for your upcoming season?
Yeah, I mean, thanks for having me on and dealing with my very tight schedule that I forgot about. No, I mean, thanks for getting me on here late, guys. I appreciate it.
No
obviously,
problem.
Jeff and Harry from the weekend, all my crew, everybody that makes it happen. This is a big deal. My family, my girlfriend, everybody that lets me go racing down the states and not bitch at me when I come back across the border and act like normal. So a lot of people make this happen, and I'm very thankful for all that.
All right, I got to ask this before we go here. I know we've been talking a lot about Canadian here.
Canadian.
Or was it Molson? Yeah, Canadian, Canada.
Oh my God.
Molson or Labatt's?
Molson.
Okay.
Yeah, Labatt's tastes like skunky beer.
You ain't wrong. You are not wrong, sir.
Yeah, it's bad aftertaste.
Yeah, I agree with you there.
All right, so now I know every time I have a Molson's, I'll be thinking of Mat Williamson. Matt, thank you so much for joining us, buddy. Appreciate you. Good luck the rest of the year. We'll be talking to you here. Hopefully, maybe when we go down to Bristol here, we'll be having a post-race interview with you. Good luck this year, buddy.
Sounds good, guys. Thanks for having me on.
No problem.
Thanks, Matt.
Care. There he rolls, ladies and gentlemen. Mat Williamson heading on off here, and glad we got him on. That was a lot of fun. That was a ton of fun tonight with Matt, and Adam, you did a hell of a job on that interview because you were able to pick his brain, and that's something I always love to do is that hear these guys talk like race car drivers and not like the trying to explain different stuff to the kind of the fans and all that. but it's kind of one of those things where you can explain it to the fans that they would understand it too. Race fans understand some of these cars and all that stuff. And I'm glad we have you, somebody like you on here that can help explain that to the fans.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know a whole lot. I mean, I know how to drink beer and do tires, but in the same aspect, like, oh, for sure.
Speaking of beer,
but no, it's different because there's so many different options when it comes to modified racing. I mean, I'm sure it's the same way with sprint cars as well, but like, there's so many random combinations that you can put together just chassis wise. I mean, it's ridiculous, but
yeah,
like I said, I'm almost 100% positive sprint cars are the same way with like the low rack, split rack, all that good happy nonsense. But it's different. It's nice to be able to not so much as pick someone's brain, because obviously they're not going to give you away speed secrets, but like just the difference in the feel between the different cars, because that, like Matt said, that left side Panhard stuff on the modifieds just throws you around like you would not believe.
Yeah, absolutely. And Chris, I'm going to send you a quick video here in our group chat real quick and see if you can't throw it up here, because William Luce does hell of a great job on some video stuff here, and I want to show you some of his work from Port Royal this past weekend here. And this tweet here too, I wanted to bring this up. We saw this today on Twitter. We're going to have a little bit of sunshine in Pennsylvania this weekend. Tyler Courtney is bringing the Clausen Marshall number 7 to Pennsylvania this weekend for the 3-race weekend. Good to see sunshine back in the 410 this weekend.
Yeah, I can't wait. I mean, he's been doing really, really good in that winged 410, and I don't know if a lot of people necessarily expected him to be fast right out of the box with it, but it's nice because he's looked really strong, and kind of curious to see how his first venture winged car wise comes to Pennsylvania.
Yeah, he looked good at Port Royal. I know they learned a lot last year.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah, they were in here for the Tuscarora 50. So looking forward to see sunshine in here this weekend. With the coming in here. Don't forget Justin Henderson. He's coming in this weekend too. He's making his return back to Pennsylvania. So can't wait to see Justin here. Hopefully we get all 3 in. I don't know if it's going to happen. Sunday is kind of looking like a wash, but even tomorrow night. But Saturday afternoon, there's gonna be some good racing coming up here on Saturday afternoon. Let's see here. Anything else in your notes here, Adam?
Yeah, we got a little bit. So there's going to be a limited number of fans allowed at Martinsville and Richmond for the upcoming NASCAR race weekends. So there's that. I mean, I'd probably looking like there wasn't going to be any fans for the longest time, but cool that we're finally starting to get fans back into places. Yeah. Well, never mind. I keep thinking that Bristol is in Virginia, but
technically
the town of Bristol. Yeah, the town of Bristol's in Virginia. The racetrack's in Tennessee.
Yes.
Anywho, let's move on.
To be completely technical,
out of here.
Main Street, Bristol, city of Bristol, splits the border between Virginia and Tennessee. So it is actually a city in 2 states.
Okay, then.
Yeah, it's pretty neat.
Yeah. Okay, I can't wait to see it, to be truthfully honest with you. I mean, we've always seen the signs for Bristol rolling down 81 to Charlotte, but yeah. Anywho, so Chris Windham is going to be taking over the Dirt Silver Crown for Hans Lean, which was the 97 that Sunshine ran the last couple of years.
Okay.
So I guess that rules out Sunshine Silver Crown wise, at least for the series.
Sounds like it'll be a lot of wing effort here. And as you keep going through your news here, big we'll roll this from William Luce here. He does some phenomenal job here from some of the modifieds at Port Royal. So we'll have that up for you, as Adam, if you want to finish up your news and notes here.
Well, we have the video rolling through. Oof. They are booking it, man.
It's gorgeous. It is gorgeous stuff. I tell you what, he does some great work. He's coming into his own, and we're gonna probably have to partner up with him with some good stuff here. Try and get him a clip of the week segment or whatever. But this is that is just beautiful. So thank you. Thank you, Will. Appreciate that, buddy. So
anyway, not to change subjects, but I loved the knowledge of Matt when he was talking about the motors, because let's face it, it's not like you have the standard sprint car wise where you have a 305, 360, 410.
No, it's definitely seems like the Wild West when it comes to modified
so
racing.
Many goddamn options when it comes to modified. I mean, you figure there's two different kinds of sportsman motors. You have the big block, small block. You have the open small block, which might as well be a big block, but not really. You have all them spec motors that you have to run in New York, plus it's ridiculous the amount of motors that you can possibly go through, and it's nothing like sprint car racing, but it's kind of cool because you have so many different options. Like if you want to run time and get a spec head, Grandview spec head. Go down to Jersey, same thing. You go up to New York, you have 7 different racetracks that run 7 different motor options. Like
that old saying on how fast you want to go, how much money you want to spend.
Yeah, for sure. But anyway, we'll keep it rolling here. Roger Penske is hopeful to have 250,000 fans for the Indianapolis 500 this year. I don't see that happening. I would love to see it. I mean, I don't know what max capacity is for Indy, but 250,000 would probably
over 400,000.
Oh, yeah. 200. So you're probably looking a little over half capacity. I mean,
yeah, that'd be 250,000.
It'd be nice. Yeah. So that'd be neat if it happened. Yeah. Last one here. We have Mav TV is creating a partnership with Larson to help his late model efforts.
Well, you saw that coming.
Oh yeah, for sure. He's already on the midget and all that good stuff. Yeah.
So that I'm sure they'll be on the 410.
Looks like there's going to be a little more sponsorship on that Rumley 6.
Yes, sir. Also, congrats to Chris Ferguson on the win down at Bristol down there on Saturday or Friday night. And then Jonathan Davenport with a nice move on Kyle Larson to take the win. Nice move to take the win on Saturday afternoon. All right, folks, let's get into this weekend's racing action we have coming up here. We're going to start off with the Williams Grove Speedway tomorrow night with the Lawrence Chevy 410 Sprint Cars and the ULMS Zimmer Service Center's Super Late Models. They'll try and go again tomorrow night. Winner of that Super Late Model race will get an automatic bid into the Alan Saggy Tribute race down at the Hagerstown Speedway coming up later on this season. Saturday afternoon, we have the Wecker Livestock 410 Sprint Cars up at the Port Royal Speedway, along with, I believe they are with the River Valley Builder Super Late Models again this weekend. And then also on Saturday, we also have Lincoln Speedway down there with the Gene Lotta Ford 410 Sprint Cars and the 358 Sprint Cars. And then also on Saturday afternoon, the Kingdom of Speed, the Bridgeport Speedway opens up, and I am so excited to see it down here. Now, they made a couple schedule changes here. So the modified program, a lot, okay? I'm trying to sound nice. So Saturday will now be, the modifieds will be running on Saturday. They will run a regular show with Heat, Consies, the 60-lap feature paying $6,000 to win, $1,000 for 10th, and $500 to start. And then now the URC feature and the 602 Sportsman will still stay the same. Sunday's program with the Speedster and the 4 cylinders has been canceled and will be rescheduled for another date. No change to the Friday night program, which has the Mid-Atlantic 305 series down there. I believe the crates are running 2 on Friday night, if I'm not mistaken, as well. So, but Saturday's supposed to be a gorgeous day out there. And Big Diamond, as you said, move practice. I believe Grandview's practice is on Saturday. That should be fun to see how that plays out. And then
I'll probably
Sunday,
end up at Grandview practice.
And if everything works out that we don't get the rain or whatever on Sunday, Selinsgrove's running again with the brand new Lelands.com 410 Sprint Cars. Lelands.com picked up title sponsorship of the 410s this weekend, and they'll be joined by the super late models up there starting at 2 o'clock on Sunday afternoon. Hopefully they get that in. Really, I want to get back up to Selinsgrove after that race last weekend. And then, yeah, so I don't got anything else. What do you think, Adam? Should we put this puppy to bed?
Yeah, I mean, other than what's your plans for the weekend? Are you doing that Bridgeport deal or? Oh
well, yeah, I'm going to be going down help with the URC, so I'll be down there helping doing that deal.
So what, just Saturday, or are you going Friday too?
They just run Saturday. 360s are on Saturday.
Okay, so that answers my question. You're probably going to go to the Grove tomorrow.
I don't think so. Actually, I'm going out for a friend's birthday tomorrow night, I think. So that's
Ooh.
Yeah, we're going, yeah. So, hey, it's some of those things here. Sometimes you got to take a step back, but plans change. We'll be at the Grove tomorrow night, but either way, we'll be somewhere this weekend. Make sure you stop by, say hi to us. Tell us how good of a job, how shit of a job we're doing here on the Highside Hustle, or whatever you want to tell us. Just bring beer. Anyway, is that it for you, Adam? Anything else you got going on? What do you got going this weekend? You said Grandview practice, right?
Yeah, probably going to go to Grandview practice Saturday, but more than likely Grove tomorrow, unless I just sit at home and be a bum. But you know how that goes early season. I'm like raring to get out of the house and go racing. But yeah.
Chris, what's coming up next on the National Racing Network?
Coming up at 10:15 tonight, it is round 2 of the Indy Pro 2000 series, official series. This one's a strength of field race. That one's going to be PM18s from Monza over in Italy. Monday night is Silver Crowns. Tuesday night, sprint cars, pavement sprints. Wednesday night, I'm pretty sure we're going to have another Snydersville Raceway train wreck. Big shout out to those guys. In total, we have raised, in the last 24 hours, about $1,000 for Ryan Cummings, who is a modified driver who, well, now retired modified driver. 18-year-old kid going in for his second open heart surgery here in a couple of weeks. Check out ryan.nationalracingnetwork.com. That'll take you straight to his GoFundMe page, and you can kind of see his story. But he's a racer that needs some help. We'll say it that way. Really proud of everybody who came out last night to help out with that deal.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun to be a part of, and good racing last night. Won by Paul Mancini in the big blocks down at Bristol. But that was so much fun to be able to help raise some great money for Ryan there and be a part of that whole deal. And hats off to everyone here at the National Racing Network, Snydersville Raceway, Alan's Greenwig, doing a great job promoting that for Ryan on such short notice too. And so that's a lot of fun that we had last night, and we'll have fun with that iRacing stuff tonight. So, all right, folks. Well, I think that'll do it for this edition of the Highside Hustle. We'll be back next Thursday night with another. I guess we'll call it a rain wreck or whatever you want to call it. Even though I tell you what, this is starting to get off the ground, guys. This is going to be we're having a lot of fun with this now, and we'll be doing. There's a lot more coming up here, folks. So stick with us here. So for everyone here at the National Racing Network, that's Adam Rubright, Chris Graham, our executive producer. My name is Bert Wojcik. Keep on hustling. We'll see you at the track this weekend.
This Independence Day weekend, kick your party off with a bang. DeWeather Center presents the first annual DeWeather Cares Charity Softball Classic, presented by the National Racing Network. The Palmerton Boobies, DeWeather Center Bluecocks, Blue Mountain I-95ers, Pocono Front Platers, Schuylkill County Crackers, Reading Nurses, Catasauqua Blue Tits, and Beltsville Lake Monsters will take the field in Emerald. Find out more on Facebook at DeWeather Center. DeWeather Center, offensively accurate. If there's one thing every car guy hates, it's cleaning the garage. Do you want to take most of the time and hassle out of that job? Then call Zone Garage of Eastern Pennsylvania and New Jersey. Agnes and her crew will have your garage, shop, basement, or even your porch looking great all the time. With unique patterns and designs, plus the ability to incorporate your logo or any artwork, your space will never have looked better. Installation is done in one day, guaranteed, And Zone Garage offers a 20-year warranty on the top coat. Their coatings are durable, anti-slipped, and impact resistant. Give them a call at 570-856-6067. That's 570-856-6067 for Zone Garage of Eastern Pennsylvania and New Jersey.